Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes, their prisoner, and their guest are traveling to Quinntown. Juniper was forced to carry out her first execution as Chief Justice. Butthole determined that Krendan could be rehabilitated. And Quinny discovered he has a teenage daughter who he'd unknowingly abandoned. Can our heroes get the food they need, escape the Greywater Legion, and can Quinny connect with his daughter? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
You find yourselves on the road to Quinton. With you, you have your captured companion, Krendan, the werewolf, one of the fries, and you have Ginny Brownbarrow, Quinny's daughter. The five of you and Goblin Jr. Are making your way to Cornucopia, Quinny's hometown, which seemingly has been rebranded after his death to reflect his heroic status as a watch captain of Waterdeep, his most famous of all roles. You're making your way through the fertile fields, and you can see zombies kind of at distance, but generally speaking, taking your time or sending Quinny up ahead, you're kind of able to dispatch them with relative ease along the way. You can see some farms that have been burned, some farms that have been abandoned, but according to Ginny, at least, who admittedly hasn't been around town much lately, but last she was there, Quentin remained sort of well hidden. That's largely thanks to something called the Dunsinane Barrier. She explains that the farmers early on realized that, as she put it, this Walking Dead bullshit wasn't going to be over tomorrow night. They banded together to find a way to kind of try and keep the Cornucopia safe. And as a result, they erected a barrier of essentially like a fence made of forest. So they made kind of a several tree deep fence layer to kind of hide Cornucopia from the outside world a little bit. It's easy enough to, sort out if you're not the Walking Dead, but if you're a zombie, not the most obvious place. So, Quinny, with this, your some of the anxiety you'd been feeling at least abates, largely because it wasn't just we got real lucky just sitting at home and the zombies never came. They've at least taken some active steps to prevent being overrun. You'll arrive at the Dunsinane Barrier soon, and already you're seeing the familiar sights of home. Is there anything all of you would be discussing or that you'd want to sort out before you arrive?
So what's the story that everybody thinks is true about you, Quinny? And are we trying to correct this, or are we trying to play along? This is very emotionally complicated for you and kind of whatever for me. So what do you need?
Well, it's actually potentially a diplomatic nightmare for you, given that we are about to ask a huge favor of these people. So I don't know if telling them the truth would be better or worse. It's been, he looks at Ginny. It's been about 13 or 14 years since I've been away. And it's been about how many years since I was declared dead?
Probably, I think at this point, probably around 2. I think
2 feels right.
Chronology.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ginny, how would everybody in town feel if they heard that Quinny hadn't died at Waterdeep, but died somewhere else equally important and still saved the world and hell and arguably heaven?
I mean, they already really like him, so that's probably cool. But you got to remember, it's a small place, and they don't understand big, scary things. So it might be too much. Something like, he was a really good town guard and he died guarding a really good town. I think that they can understand. But heaven and hell.
I mean, I died saving my friend. I caught a blade for him, and the blade exploded.
Wow.
And that friend was me, which is why we found a way to fight into hell and bring him back.
Didn't know the blade was going to explode. Full disclosure. Thought that was
yeah, I didn't know blades could do that.
But I didn't either until I was blown up by one.
So damn cool.
I wasn't there, but I've helped in other ways.
Yeah, totally. Juniper, do we not tell you that enough? Like, you're great.
Well, yeah. I know.
Okay.
It's just sometimes, all this stuff happened
yeah.
before I came, and it's like...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The Juniper
We've had
days have been great
adventures
days. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just very truncated because we're dealing with Quinny's death, which you just had
No,
new Quinny.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, at this point, Quinny is like best friends with a king, and we're going to overthrow all the necromancers and kill them. That's our plan. That's why we're traveling around, is to put together a team so that we can do that, because this zombie thing sucks.
Yeah, if the scope needs to be narrowed, we're stopping the people that did this, and like Quinny just gestures at everything.
Yeah. No, they'll understand. I mean, they're not stupid. It's just a more abstract concept, when you start talking about metaphysical dimension shit.
Well, yeah, all right, granted, but it sounds also like Avalon Riker lied, I guess, just to keep certain secrets safe. I don't know.
He kind of did it generously, so he didn't just disappear.
Yeah, I guess so.
that was the vibe. He told a long story. I mean, your parents, they had a hard time with it. Like Grammy and Gramps, like they felt real bad, but he explained that you were a hero and that you'd done something really heroic. I guess he was actually just talking about that exploding blade thing, but he made it sound like you'd died saving the town. So I don't know. I think you just need to explain why you're back in a way that won't make all their heads hurt. It's going to be a lot already.
Okay, we can do that. That's doable. Quinny, did you have any rivals or anybody who hated you that we need to worry about? I'm imagining no, because everyone apparently loves you. Is this correct?
I mean, no, like, major blood feuds or anything like that.
Okay, cool. Then we got two jobs. One, we got to make sure that this works. And two, we got to keep an eye out for the fries, because if they're coming after us or Ginny or you, Quinny,
well,
we don't really need any blowback affecting these very nice people.
I'm betting Raquel isn't a big fan of mine.
Yeah, that's a safe statement. But I mean,
who's Raquel?
Oh, sorry, that's my that's my mom, my stepmom.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
See, I would have thought she'd be grateful because
what? Because I'm back? Because I broke the heart of her wife?
No, but I mean, if you'd stayed, then maybe she wouldn't. I don't know.
Ginny is legitimately kind of losing her mind at this. This is delightful to her. She doesn't say anything. She's just quietly chuckling in a adults are fighting kind of way.
Hey, look, I'm not great with kids, but have you picked up swearing yet? Are you?
First of all, I'm no fucking kid, and second, yes, obviously.
Perfect, great, because I am not going to be able to put a cap on
I'm
that.
not a
I am
kid.
going to swear like crazy.
I'm the second greatest thief in the world.
You are definitely a kid. If you're my daughter, you're a kid, because that's just how time works.
How old are you by years, if you don't mind us asking?
I'm shut up years old.
Yeah, all right.
See, that does make you sound like a kid. If you'd said a number, I might have argued for you as an adult, but no number means...
Fine, I'm 14.
Okay, that's an adult some places. I would say you're capable of at least apprenticing with the guild. At that point, I was expected to either lead an army or flee to become a mercenary, and I made the choice. So you got to give some credit here to the...
Wait, wouldn't you be a prince then? Like, aren't you a king?
Well, I mean, I was a prince, and then they were trying to, I think, hollow me out to put an evil god inside me, so I had to run away.
You want to talk about head-hurting stuff here? Go ahead.
And then I was a mercenary for a bit, and then I discovered my goddess and became a cleric. So I'm coming back. I got my cool god powers, and I'm ready to take back the family business and end whatever the fuck this mess is. He just points at zombies in all directions.
And she kind of nods at that. That all makes sense to her. And she looks to you, Juniper, and she's like, all right, what's your deal?
Well, I mean, it was kind of foretold that I would be the person to...
Oh, to be clear, this is the head hurt stuff, so if you didn't want dimensions, you should back out now.
Look, I want to know what I'm dealing with here. I mean...
Okay.
That's what...
Well, yeah, so the universes are colliding, and we've got different worlds, colliding. It's called the Great Collide, and that's really bad. So I was prophesied to either help it happen or stop it, and figured out that it's actually kind of, but my role is to kind of help, fix it.
All right.
So
Well,
we, sorted out the gods are kind of sorting some stuff out, and we kind of have to deal with all of like the changes that have happened because people have come from like other places here and have making things bad, and then we have like people from here who've been like going out, and there's a couple of like really bad people that have been going like all over the place and just
all right. So you're basically saying like
going back and forth and weapons and armies and dead people now, and it's,
so you're basically saying like if you had 2 eggs and you smash those eggs together, it's bad for both eggs.
Yeah,
that's an excellent way of putting it.
Oh my god,
that before like that.
You honestly, if anything happens to him, you're in immediately to replace him in this.
No, not at all.
Listen, you said
also. You talk about knowing what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with anything. We're taking you home to your mother.
No. I'm dealing with you guys. You guys are guests here in this town, and also last I checked, you haven't been really playing much of a part around these parts. So, and after that, I mean, I need to go win a Quinny. I heard about them. We weren't supposed to hear about them. Yes, I absolutely do. I do. I need to prove I'm the greatest thief that ever lived. That's what.
You do know that, like, Quinny, like, they're only named after him because of, like, the death thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great and
posthumous,
all, like, super thiefy, but, like, he died.
Okay, team. It's kind of hard to judge her for wanting to win a thiefy when Quinny's
get it.
Quinny's whole life was wanting to win a thiefy.
Yeah. That's how you prove you're the best thief. You have to steal one, though. Winning one sucks, but you got to steal one.
Look,
at least that's what I always imagined. And you can see she keeps like catching herself because she keeps trying to say like that's what Quinny would have done. Because clearly she's been saying that to herself for years. And now she just is in that awkward position of like not wanting to say that, but having clearly built an entire ethos around the Quinny she imagined.
No, you're not doing any of that. You're going to stay here. You're going to live on a farm.
Quinny,
it's safe.
Quinny,
cool. That's a great idea. Like you did, right?
I don't know if you can tell her what to do.
Apparently, I can now because she's my daughter.
Okay,
I mean, like,
biologically,
maybe.
I gotta take Quinny aside for a little chat because there's important things. Talk about king to privateer. If you guys just want to go a little bit ahead, we'll catch up and then we'll go meet the town behind the trees.
Do not let her out of your sight. She is admittedly extremely sneaky, and I'm a little bit proud, but that shit's dangerous, Ginny. So stay with
very
Juniper.
Sneaky adult.
And
then she like skips along next to you.
Just like, so Ginny, like, what makes you happy?
I mean, stealing mostly. Then the two of you just kind of wander off chatting.
All right, Quinny. So clearly you're having a day, and I'm not trying to like load crap onto the wagon you're dragging right now. So first of all, let me offer my help however I can. As a man, I had a very bad father, so I can provide negative examples you don't want to replicate, and maybe you could just be opposite dad to my dad. That could be good. As a god, I can only imagine how surprised you are with how your prayer worked out, but I work in mysterious ways. So instead of Mirabelle, you have a daughter named Ginny.
Yeah, have you figured out how you made this one happen there?
Yep. Gods are immortal and time works for us differently. So apparently I did this. Or maybe it's that letter you burned. There's options. But the third thing I wanted to talk to you as is your king. I don't know if you've thought about this, but you're my chief privateer and closest friend. You've personally murdered plantiers. You've waged war on a god. And you've made enemies across heaven and hell, all of whom know your name and know your reputation and link you with me. And now we're battling necromancers and mercenaries who have taken over this entire planet. If you leave your 14-year-old daughter here in a farm, which bad guy do you think gets her first? Because it's going to be a freaking race.
I think none of them, because nobody knows that she's my daughter.
She talks
She
about
spent I know, but she spent 14 years living her life, and no one's come for her yet, and we're going to keep it that way because she's safe here. That's the
Quinny,
proof that this is a safe place for her. This was a safe place for me, and then I left.
Yeah, but Quinny, you did leave, and now you're famous everywhere else. You realize you've only been a big deal for like a year, right? Like in terms of geopolitics. I know.
My life took a real dive when I left my hometown. I was arrested. I lived in prison. I had to kill and steal to stay alive. It was not cool.
For 13 years, you weren't a problem. And she got to be nobody living nowhere. For 1 year, you've become one of the arguably top 30 most important people on the planet. That means the other 29, if they don't like you, and they fucking don't, and we include gods on this list, if they want to fuck with you, you have a weakness. Its name is Ginny. She's right there. You spent the last 2 years growing a fucking heart, and now the problem is they'll rip it out through your balls. You, at the end of this adventure, fucking need Ginny and Ginny's mom and anyone else you don't want to just, I don't know, get stomped by a fucking owl that sets them on fire to come live in our castle, because that's the only place we know we can protect. You don't like that you're going to upend the world.
God, I hate it. I hate it so. I'm so mad. I'm fucking furious. You're right. God damn it. God damn it.
This is when I don't like being a king, but I'm capable of this because I was trained by a psychopath. Maybe my dad did have value. Oh, I don't like that thought. Okay, I think this conversation's good. We're going too deep. But yes, so I will help you however I can with this. But whether or not she likes you, she's got to come back to the castle with us. Or it's bad for everybody.
I get that. I don't care what she thinks of me. Quinny lies. And I think.
Can you roll
right.
a deception, because Butthole is really trying to read you in this instant?
Yeah,
I'm gonna roll an insight opposite it.
6 deception is a 19.
I'm at 23. Okay, I know you lied, but he's not going to comment on it.
Yeah. I don't care what she thinks of me. Okay, I do want her to be safe though. So yeah, whatever it takes, we will get her and hers and everyone to the castle. And honestly, if it's like you said, and I've become a prominent figure in the world that a lot of bad people want to hurt, nobody in this town is safe then. The fucking town is named after me. We have to move everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has to evacuate. We'll have to do a whole fucking caravan and get everybody up to the Fortress of Forlorn Hope.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the most accurate way to describe this. All these people got to go.
All right, so I guess that's the new mission, is bring people and supplies.
Yeah, we just cut the whole place back. Okay, so as the king, we'll sort that out. God tip, though, as the butt hammer, I can only resurrect people if their heads are put together. So you really need to get Ginny a helmet.
About this.
You need to get Ginny a helmet. Put a helmet on Ginny. Helmet and a neck, like just from the head to like mid shoulders. We got to lock that shit down for her, because that's our high risk zone.
I got to teach her how to duck.
She dies below that, we're fine. She dies up, problem.
I hate this. I fucking hate this conversation.
I don't like it either, but my powers are not limitless.
I'm leaving.
Yet.
Do not talk to me about my decapitated daughter. I'm leaving.
I'm not. I'm trying to find this guy. Well, I guess this is reasonable. Moonhammer, you know how? Open Slack. Dear Moonhammer. Sends a frustrated gif. He's like, you do good and they still don't get it. I'm starting to understand why you dealt with me the way you dealt with me. Love, Butthole.
Meanwhile, you walk back to Juniper and Ginny having like a really nice conversation, and Ginny's like, yeah, and the freedom of only wearing a cowl means I can move my head in any direction, and I've just found that any additional armor or encumbrance just really prevents that.
The peripheral vision that's so important, and being able to move and spot your opponents or just anything really quickly it's a big advantage.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
When he returns and winces at the mention of Ginny's head moving in any direction. Just, we're back.
Oh, hey, Quinny, your Highness, your lordship,
Just call
Sir,
him Butthole.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with that. I mean, Quinny and I are cool, so like we can worry if there's got to be a Your Highness if we're like, I don't know, meeting some sort of villain or a treaty thing. But other than that, I'm just Butthole in this town.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, yeah, welcome back. Look, we're getting pretty close to the barrier. Yeah. And she turns to you, Quinny. She's like, "Are you ready for this?"
No, let's go.
Yeah. And sure enough, you approach a massive wall of trees that, if you were to walk by, would just seem like sort of a wooded area. But knowing what you know, you can tell, particularly Juniper, I think, like one look at these, and you can tell that these are not living trees. These are sort of carefully preserved trees forming this barricade.
Oh, they're not living. Oh, that's too bad.
I mean, if they'd had, several
Juniper
decades to let them
loves
grow.
topiary so much.
Look,
this is
dude,
kind of a
you can
bummer.
make it grow. They couldn't, so it's up to you.
For 8 hours.
Yeah. So full of dismay at this unfortunate necessity, you make your way sort of along the barrier until Ginny finds kind of the spot she's looking for. Then she waves all of you over, and she actually starts trying to push a tree sort of in a circle, like twist it. And as she does, you hear a click. And sort of through the trees, a little door swings open, halfling-sized door, of course. And she says, sorry, this is probably going to be a bit of a tight fit for some of him. It's going to be a tight fit for you. Sorry. We kind of built it for us-sized folks.
I'll crawl. We do what we got to do. Honestly, it's really ingenious, and I'm impressed by all the work.
There is the briefest little, she had nothing to do with building this wall, but there's a little hometown grin, and you just hear her mutter to herself the king thinks we're cool. And then she gets in there, and as you follow her through, it's a little bit like how they show getting into Narnia, where it's you're just kind of digging through trees, and slowly those trees start to kind of open up a little bit more. It's generally, you're covered in pine needles and other things. It's kind of uncomfortable, but then suddenly you kind of basically fall out the other side into basically an Animal Crossing or Truman Show scenario where you're just kind of in this fairly perfectly preserved rolling green hills. There's not a zombie in sight. The farms are active. There's no signs of the destruction or decay that you've seen elsewhere. And even the air just smells a little bit cleaner because you aren't getting that faint aura of decay that otherwise lingers wherever the dead may roam. And Quinny, rolling out before you, you see Cornucopia, the town of Plenty. As you'll recall, the town is largely farms. So there's a lot of land within this barrier. And a lot of the farms aren't, directly downtown, but are kind of within sight of the main town hall where the infamous barn dances occur. Stretching out before you, you can see kind of the town in the distance. You recognize the inn that Mirabelle's parents ran. You can see the small school, which mostly dealt in, of course, learning all the basics, but also specializing in agriculture. Small little doctor's office is a strong term, but basically the doctor's house where he lives and works. A small church to Paylor, which is very much again in kind of a classic wood farmhouse style church. It's not hugely impressive. It's just sort of small and quaint, but it gets the job done. Of course, the general store with the farm goods. Your parents own a farm sort of past the city. The Brown Barrow farm is a little ways out, but new to the town. Even at this distance, you can see that in the center of town, there's a statue that is relatively new by your taste. Also, Butthole, And Juniper, were you there yet? I don't think you were. Butthole, you would recognize this as the landscape that you, Moonhammer, and Bucky and Alan
Saw in Hell. Yeah.
saw in Hell. Of course, that was a more cartoonish version of it. The colors were all more vivid. It all felt a little bit oversaturated. The contrast was up a little too high. Everything was a bit too uniform. So it's interesting seeing kind of the reality of it here, where it is still very bucolic and beautiful, just not as cartoony.
So, Quinny, awkward question. Do you want to go to the town and announce yourself, or do you want to go talk to your parents first? Because this is going to be a bit of a bombshell for them.
I better go visit mom and dad. Just
So
in
then
case we do a town square thing and that's how they find out.
They will.
That's not how that's going to, how I want that to go. So,
All right, hoods up, everybody. We're going to stand out no matter what, but we'll try. And he
Yeah.
just like pulls back on his cold weather clothing to just be like in a big cloak.
Mm-hmm.
you can certainly get started on the town square thing if you want. I gotta go. I
Yeah,
gotta go see my folks.
I think the town will respond very favorably to you. So why don't we do this all together, and then we can get them on side before anything else happens.
All right.
All right, I need a party stealth check for traipsing your giant selves through Hobbiton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to say.
I'll take my ring off and flip it to Butthole like a coin. You're like, put that on.
Oh, whoa.
Quiet now.
Oh, sorry.
People can't see you. They can still hear you.
And Ginny's eyes go wide, and she goes, "Wait a minute, where'd he go?
He's there. He's invisible. It's a ring of invisibility.
What? There's a ring that can make you invisible
Yeah. A lot of
here in our small halfling town, brought by a magical person of some sort. I didn't know they could do that. That's amazing. Can I have
my
one?
ring. I've got the one. That's it. I got it from a friend, and I'm letting Butthole borrow it.
You can't have it. It's very precious to him.
Oh, a precious. Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's his precious.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, second best thief. Let's keep it quiet and show me what you got. We're trying to sneak to Grandma and Grandpa's house.
I rolled a
And-
1.
Yeah. And she nods to you, and she says, "Okay, let's go." And the two of you begin skulking. Butthole, you continue to, but unfortunately, Juniper, you roll a 1.
Yeah.
What distracts you so much that you actually like kind of wheel to a stop?
Oh, I think it's just me. I try to change into a halfling, but I've already changed into Dr. Martha today and I've forgotten about it. And so I'm just like, suddenly it hurts. And I just say, as like in a very old West Mossy kind of way, fuck, that fucking hurt. But just a little too loud.
And the words just kind of echo out across the valley, and you can see townsfolk starting to come out of the houses and kind of like stop what they're doing. Quinny, Ginny, and Butthole, you're actually able to kind of get to cover behind the church. Again, this is more of a skulking than like an actual stealth thing. But Juniper, you are fully exposed, and you can see like a couple of people are starting to sort of like head towards you. What do you do?
Whoops. And I start like slow waving to everyone.
Juniper, I swear to God, if you fuck this up for me, Quinny's just like muttering to himself
Yep.
over at the corner.
All right. Well, now you got to move extra fast because the cat may soon be out of the bag. So give me another stealth check, please. This time, not you, Juniper. This time,
yeah, I'm just like muttering, nothing to see here.
yeah. This time you're cutting through the Greybeards farm. Greybeards were one of your closest neighbors. You guys got along fine, but in a lot of ways they were just like the neighbors who were kind of. It's just one of those things where it's like you guys are just on slightly different wavelengths. Like, so not unpleasant, but also not a warm relationship. And I think this is probably a farm you tracked through a lot growing up. And Ginny's like, "Hey, are you sure you want to do this? I mean, Traven and Donnie are they can be pretty mean about people messing up their farm.
Little Draven and Donnie. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not going to be a problem.
Okay, man. And let's see what those stealth checks are, please.
27.
15, because my advantage balances out my disadvantage.
Great.
Walking through a field.
So, the checks all her check passes as well, given that she can move without sound. You make your way across, and you hear a clanking noise as you approach the farmstead, and you just see these two just fucking ripped halflings. And Donnie's like, "Come on, Draven, two more," and you just see him like pumping iron, and these guys are jacked. There's a reason this field is so well plowed. They are very fit halflings. They're old, but they are fit. Well, not old. I mean, I guess they're your age.
Yeah.
So
Quinny's
old,
like,
they're old to Ginny.
it's like I never left. It's like they were out in the field pumping when I was on my last day here. Like they never stopped.
No, I don't think they did.
Yeah, that's
It's
honestly not
honestly-
going to be a problem. Just keep quiet and we'll go around them.
Yeah, all right. You're world's greatest thief. So you make your way around, and finally, Quinny, you set eyes on the Brown Barrel farm. As the three of you quickly make your way towards it. Juniper, you meanwhile are being greeted by the townsfolk of Quinton. A doctor is kind of out in front, and he's walking with a walking stick. He's just classic like small town old man doctor, and sort of adjusting his glasses. And as he approaches, he kind of waves to you, but also notices that you're very clearly an outsider. So he kind of like slows to a stop. And some of the kids from the school are kind of like peeking out through windows. You can see that the priest of the small temple of Palor is like out in front as well. And there's sort of just a weird mix of like incredibly hospitable people also knowing that they're in an incredibly dangerous world right now. And they're kind of keeping their distance. What do you do to either show them that you're not a threat, or to keep them at bay until Quinny can talk to his parents?
Juniper she'll draw her sword and she'll kind of bend down and set it on the ground in front of her.
Okay.
As a kind and just kind of like back away a little bit and say, hello, new friends.
Can you roll me a persuasion check?
Sure. 19.
You can see the doctor and the priest kind of look to each other, and there's a classic like, if this is how we go down, it's worth it. Smile and nod as the old man begins kind of walking out towards you with a brave, welcoming smile on his face, and he is rapidly approaching. Quinny, Butthole, Ginny, and Goblin Jr., you arrive at the Brown Barrel farm. And Ginny just kind of looks to you, Quinny, and says, be careful with them, okay?
I will. Yeah, can you guys all just wait out here while I do this thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. I thought I wasn't supposed to talk. Sorry, I'm confused.
Oh my god!
I'm over here.
I can I can see him with my eye of true sight. So it's like, yeah, it's like he never left. We're like, yes, okay, yes.
Ginny is still consistently shocked anytime he talks, and he's like, Butthole, I think like looking at you as though you are the most magical person she's ever met. Like, for the first time, someone really respects your stealth in a kind of unique way. But she says, yeah, we'll obviously we'll stay out here. I don't want to be in there for this. Ew.
Yeah,
Right.
if you don't want me in there, I won't go. But if you need me to like back up your story or whatever as a character witness, I'll be out here.
All right, thanks. Wish me luck. It's not funny. Okay, it's not a joke. And I'll like knock on the door. I guess that
What
feels
does
weird.
what does the farm look like? Like, what does this door and house situation look like from the outside?
It's pretty modest. It's one floor. There's no like second story or anything like that. So it's sprawled out a little bit. There's a pen off to the left side where, I mean, to Quinny's memory, there were 2 pigs, but now it looks like there's 4. So good for them, I guess. Other than that, it's fields of, I think I've said it before. I think it's pumpkins. I think
Yes.
it's like, yeah. I think the Brown Barrel specifically dealt in farming pumpkins, maintaining a pristine pumpkin patch. And so that's what everything else is. So kind of around the house, there's like other kind of tools for tending that sort of farm. So there's a rake for just like kind of clearing it and things like that, and watering cans and stuff like that. And maybe a little, I don't think they'd have their own well. So, but like buckets for carrying water, just kind of like tools kept outside under like, there's like an awning to kind of keep them out of the worst of the elements. But that's where the tools are kind of like leaning up against the side of this house, this 1-story farmhouse.
Cool. So you knock on the door, and it sounds much louder than it is. But make the knock, and you hear a little bit of commotion inside, which you remember from it being such a small place. Anyone trying to move quickly, you're kind of banging into stuff and having to like move stools around and chairs and bumping into tables. And you kind of hear like sort of the telltale mumblings of someone saying that they're on their way. And your mother opens the door without really looking at you, just in that classic, like, she's clearly very busy. She's been kind of like reshaping one of the hose that's needed. So she's got like a heavy smock on and is like holding a metal hammer. And she kind of like stows it in her tool belt. And she turns to look at you. What does she look like?
She's got very tanned, kind of leathery skin now. I think like the sun really kind of accentuating her features that show her age. So she's got, crow's feet and kind of wrinkles around, creases around her mouth and things like that. And her hair is kind of gone gray, but she keeps it up high in a bun, kind of like very sort of quickly and haphazardly managed to just keep her hair out of her face. And her hands are they show like the coarseness of not only like a lifetime of farming, but like farming up to this day kind of thing. Like still hands that still do hard work. She's got on like mud boots and a dress that has like a faded kind of floral pattern, obviously again kind of worn out in the sun so much that the coloring in it is faded. Yeah.
What are your parents' names?
My mom's name is Penelope.
Oh, Penelope's good.
Winnie.
And your dad's name?
Ford.
Ford? Yep. Great. So Penny Brownbarrow swings open the door, and as Penelope kind of wipes her hands off on her smock, she kind of looks up, and her eyes meet yours, and there's just a moment of confusion, but it only lasts a moment. Before all the signs of age and weathered, nature of hard work seem to disappear with just a radiant smile. And she bursts into tears, and she just cries out as loud as she can, "Oh, Fordy, our Quinny's come home. And she throws her arms around you. And for a hot second, it's as though you never left.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons logo is by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Lord Abradovic, Orion Birchfield, Scott Garland, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Anna Zed, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.